Hey everybody, welcome to the final act of Corpse Factory. I believe we're hitting somewhere near the end of the game. I've even shaved, because it was such a special occasion, gone short beard mode for a little bit. Honestly, this is mainly because of the heat. It's just too hot to have a full beard at the moment. We'll grow it back. Anyway, the last episode kind of seemed like it was going to be, a finale. Aoi versus Noriko, and Aoi slit Noriko's stomach open, was bathing in her delicious intestinal juices, and was reborn as Corpse Girl, or so she thinks. So it's kind of intriguing that there's a final act. I presume this is going to be about the month between Kojiro dying and, I guess, Noriko dying. Anyway, let's get into the story again. When Mother killed herself, she didn't die. Well, she died, but not really. It's a funny thought. Everything that she was, everything that made her Asuna Kurosawa, left this planet on that day. Her body remained, but her soul had departed. She got sent away to a care facility, and I didn't see her very often after that. On the rare occasions I visited her, I would always notice that her eyes no longer looked like mine. I hate her for what she did to our family. Eureka and I were only children at the time, but Mother hung herself up from the ceiling and made us watch. She encouraged us to kick the chair out from underneath her. We didn't understand what she was doing. She told us it was a game. So we kicked the chair and we laughed. And Mother laughed, and then her neck snapped, and she stopped laughing, and that light in her eyes that I once shared with her was extinguished instantly. Yuriko screamed, and I screamed, and Mother just wouldn't move. And we couldn't get her down from the ceiling, and eventually Yuriko remembered how to call for an ambulance, and the paramedics arrived, and we were taken away. And after that, I was completely fucked up, because you don't just walk away from something like that and act like nothing happened. I spent years trying to force the painful memories of her attempted suicide out of my mind. But I didn't exactly cope with it very well. How could I? I became terrified of the world and became used to locking myself inside and wasting away. Yuriko dealt with it a little better than me. I can't say her rebellious behaviour was the right way to cope, but it had to have been healthier than staying inside for weeks at a time. By the time I reached senior high school, I think I'd mostly gotten past everything. The vision of Mother hanging from the ceiling in front of me didn't haunt my dreams. The sound of her laughter intermingled with screaming didn't always ring in my ears. Aoi helped me through a lot of it. She shared all of her problems with me, and it made me feel a bit better, like maybe my life wasn't so bad. Aoi's life was kinda messed up. Her father was arrested for various crimes and didn't spend much time in her life. When we were about ready to graduate, he came back to town and violently attacked her. She called me and told me that he killed her. But she killed him too, so it was all going to be okay. Her words, not mine. I never understood what she meant when she said she was dead. I think graduating put some distance between us, so I never truly tried to figure out her words. My own problems came back to haunt me once I moved out of home. I became completely distracted and almost forgot about Aoi. The apartment I moved into. I should have known that the smell of mould wasn't normal. I should have paid attention to the shoddy repair work that had been performed on the wall. I should have just walked away and found somewhere else to live. But that apartment, I suppose that's where I started to lose my control of my life. And that's exactly the reason why I need to return there. Several days later.
Looks the same as always.
Okay, I'm now beginning to see there might be a supernatural slant going on here. Noriko, you are dead. How are you not dead anymore? Unless, was it a fake real person? Was it fake Noriko? I'm not looking forward to climbing the rest of the stairs up to the apartment. I can hardly walk at all, even on flat ground. But I have to do this. I can't let stitches and bandages and painkillers distract me from getting inside. Are you telling me that she cut your insides out, bathed in your blood, and then you were sewn back up and bandaged and you were okay? Like, an intestinal, like, you know, just tearing through it. One, must be incredibly painful, and two, must be one of the most destructive things you can do to your body. I don't think it's the type of thing that, you know, you get out of hospital 7 days later. Like, I think it's the type of thing that if you're in hospital, it just changes your entire life, and you take years to recover, and you don't ever fully recover. I don't know how long I was in the hospital for. None of my personal effects were with me when I woke up. I had no phone, no purse, no handbag. But the doctors monitored me for a few days, and let me go, even though I told them I had nowhere to return to. They just threw me out onto the street. They couldn't even tell me what happened to the girl who attacked me. They had no idea if she'd been arrested or not. I have a feeling she's still out there. Regardless, I'm here now. My wound is apparently on the mend, and I don't have any signs of infection. All I have to focus on is the ascent in front of me. Amazing she hasn't got an infection, by the way, falling inside a factory where they always stored corpses that, you know, apparently were rotting. Each step I climb is more difficult to conquer than the last. Each time I raise my leg, I experience a tearing, searing agony along the length of my stomach. More than once, I have to stop and check my stitches haven't been torn wide open. When I'm sure my flesh is more or less intact, I continue scaling the mountain. My head throbs and beads of sweat drip down my face. When I hit the landing on the level below my own apartment, I spy a familiar face.
Noriko?
Momo Ogawa, the daughter of Kenji Ogawa, the man I framed in order to maintain my innocence.
Hey, Momo.
Her panicked cry isn't the reaction I was suspecting. Her father is exiting their apartment just as Momo cries out. He does a double take before glaring at me.
Noriko, surprised to see you here.
I can't quite get a grasp of his tone. Is he happy to see me or angry? Does he even know that I'm the reason he was arrested? Well, I'm assuming that the police let him go fairly quickly. After all, he's here at his home and not rotting in a cell.
Hello.
Your landlord said you disappeared.
Yeah, kind of.
Are you okay? You look like...
His gaze turns to the hospital tags adorning my wrists and the package of spare bandages I have slung over my shoulder.
You know, you disappeared right around the time the police...
Huh?
Forget it. It's nothing.
I have a bad feeling that he's beginning to piece something together. If he works out that I'm behind his false arrest, then...
Sorry, I should go.
Yeah. Come on, Momo.
Bye, Noriko. Bye, Momo.
The girl waves excitedly as her father leads her downstairs. I should feel relieved that he's safe, but honestly I just feel guilty. My actions, Corpse Girl's actions, put a lot of strain on that little family. I have to keep going. The last flight of stairs is torturing my battered body, but I persevere and reach the front door of my apartment. It's at this moment that I remember I don't have any keys to get in. Shit. Out of desperation, I try turning the handle and... the door opens. Either I left the place unlocked, or the landlord has been inside and forgot to lock it up. I'm just thankful that I can keep moving forwards. The curtains are open, bathing the living area in a soft light.
I'm home.
Home? No. That's not right. This isn't my home. This isn't Noriko's home. This is Corpse Girl's home. I never really lived here. I simply existed within these walls. The real Noriko was held hostage by an omnipotent presence sealed in this home. The things here are just as I left them so long ago. It's a comforting feeling, but at the same time, it sends a chill down my spine. It's time to move on. I stride with purpose toward the kitchenette and slide open one of the drawers. Inside is a small mallet with a metal head. It's a treasure I acquired from the garden shed on the apartment grounds back when I first moved in. It's not very large, but that suits me just fine. I don't have the strength to wield anything bigger than this. Bringing it to bear is still a great deal of effort. I grip the handle with both hands and lift the deceptively heavy tool. Equipped with this tiny weapon of destruction, I slowly lurch through the hallway. I make my way to the very end, where a blank, stark, white wall faces me. The paint on the wall is peeling, like it was slapped on without care. The plaster is cracked, like it was applied by an amateur. And the lingering stench of mould is at its strongest when I stand in front of this wall. I bring the mallet down with both arms, the heavy metal head crashing into the wall with as much force as I can muster. The struggle of bearing the mallet is taking its toll on my wound. I feel the stitches in my stomach threatening to snap and break. But I can't stop here. I can't stop until I've crushed this wall and revealed the glittering content of the trove hidden beside. Inside even. Another swing and another crash against the plaster. A cry of pain and another hole in the wall. I scream and swing the hammer and groan and slash and weep, and the wall crumbles beneath my sheer force of will. White dust clouds my vision and provokes me into a coughing frenzy. That's not going to be good for your stomach either, Noriko. When my eyes and throat clear up, I throw the mallet to the carpet and venture forward. I clamber through the human-sized hole in the wall and find myself within the secret cache on the other side. The stench assaulting my nostrils no longer disguises itself as mould. It's the fetid malodour of rot and decay. The inimitable God, this sentence. The inimitable trademark of decomposing corpse. I spent so long fooling myself into believing it was nothing concerning. I spent so long pretending that a corpse did not live within the walls of this apartment. The truth is, this corpse pinned to the wall is the root of all evil. It's an infinite fount of misery and despair and malice and death and hatred. This is Corpse Girl.
Hello, old friend.
The corpse does not reply. To call it a corpse is no longer entirely accurate. It has become a little more than a skeleton, an osseous edifice, a macabre tribute to the unyielding sands of time. Bone and flesh and hair and fabric blend and intertwine and meld together to form a sickening representation of human beauty. Beauty. I used to think this body was a pure perfection, back when the corpse was more or less intact. It was the image of a gorgeous, vibrant young woman. I aspired to become just as beautiful. Slender, elegant, graceful, with pale skin and dark eyes. Looking at her now, it's clear to see that I was deceived. The form before me is not beautiful. It's revolting. I shaped myself in the image of death, truly believing I was transcending mortal beauty. This corpse controlled me for so long. This corpse manipulated me and made me want to become just like it. Somewhere along the way, my own identity began to dissolve, and I started to believe that I had become this rotting carcass, this pallid bag of flesh. The spell has been broken. I don't know if it's because of my near-death experience, or the clarity of mind inspired by an intoxicating cocktail of painkillers, but I no longer want to associate myself with Corpse Girl. I want to be myself, just Noriko. I no longer want to kill in the name of this blasphemous effigy.
Corpse Girl. I found you here. locked in this storage closet just over a year ago.
Oh.
And you stole my life from me.
Looking at her now, I can't help but wonder what the hell went through my mind when I let her possess me. Why did discovering this corpse have such a profound, lasting effect on my psyche? I shut my eyes as a wave of dizziness threatens to overcome me. Staggering in the near darkness, I struggled to regain my balance. I had blocked out the memory of discovering this corpse for so long, I refused to acknowledge it ever happened. But the crystallized fragments of that forgotten memory have finally breached the surface of my consciousness. I can finally recall the event, thanks to the clarity brought about by my current state of mind. It happened several days after I moved into this apartment. The musty smell of mold lured me to the wall at the end of the corridor. The wall had been hastily patched up and covered with plaster and paint. I wondered about the source of the smell. I figured it might be a leak, a busted pipe that needed repair. Instead of calling upon the landlord for assistance, I took matters into my own hands. Perhaps I was inspired by my newfound independence. I had just become a free young woman, living on my own for the first time. Perhaps I was just stupid. I located a mallet in the garden shed. I tore down the wall. I found Corpse Girl, and in that moment, I fell to my knees. Someone had hung this corpse upon the wall, and decorated the storage room with books and photographs. The sight of the dead woman bearing down on me instantly unearthed the buried memories of my mother's attempted suicide. The pain and despair that I had repressed for so long found its way out of my mouth and formed an unholy scream. I think the fear of that discovery, and the subsequent revival of subdued memories, caused me to slip in and out of consciousness. I was paralysed by fear, and my entire body was racked with pain. Looking back now, I feel like I must have spent days lying in a heap on the floor of this storage closet. Days spent within a dreary haze of dread and depression and distress. Days spent at the feet of that hanging corpse, that form I began to look upon and idolise. Days spent in a lull, a fever dream, surrounded by photographs on the wall of all manner of corpses. Days and days of my soul and identity slipping between my fingers. Something must have eventually cracked inside me, because I remember getting to my feet and repairing the wall. I don't know how I did it, but I patched it up and painted over it and vacuumed up all the dust and debris from the carpet. And then the memory of the entire incident was just vanished from my mind. The only relic I retrieved from that storage space was a single book, a heavy tome that must have tumbled out of the closet during my delirium. Fausse Photographie, a comprehensive history of photo manipulation. Now, Corpse Girl doesn't look the way she used to. Uncovering her today hasn't shocked me into submission like it did all that time ago. Am I stronger now? No, not really. But I was prepared to face her this time. And now I'm here to bury her. As I calmly assess how difficult it will be to retrieve her from her position, my eyes fall upon the dozens of photos plastered haphazardly across the walls. Photographs of nameless bodies, printed with an instant camera. There must have been 10 or 20 or 30 corpses across the entire series of images. I don't recognise any of them. That's the only comfort I can take from viewing the images. The comfort that I'm not the one who decorated this room with these macabre visuals. Whoever put these photos up is undoubtedly the same person responsible for hanging Corpse Girl on the wall. All of the photos look so real, and all of the corpses are in such normal situations. There's an image of a decomposing body sitting on a bench waiting at a train platform. He's wearing a suit like any ordinary businessman. Another image is of a headless couple at dinner table. Dressed in their Sunday best, they are sharing a candlelit meal. Corpses going about their daily life. It's eerily reminiscent of something else I've encountered before. What was it? A book I read? Instinctively, my eyes dart to the piles of books toppled over in the corner of the storage room. There are dozens of duplicate books, as if they were abandoned here by their own author. I crouch and dust off the cover of the book at the top of the pile. Dazed by the Dead by Noble Sinclair. Noble Sinclair? Underneath 10 more copies of that volume is a different book with a familiar cover. Strange Flower. I know this. The very same book that Kojiro lent me so long ago. Except, the book here is not some worn, well-read library copy. It's in pristine condition, save for the layer of dust coating it. There are nearly a dozen copies of this book as well. Someone intentionally abandoned these books here, and the fact they are accompanying so many photos of corpses, not to mention Miss Corpse Girl herself, is no coincidence. These books and photos, as well as the copy of Faust's Photographie I found here so long ago. All of this somehow embedded itself into my consciousness and inspired me to start Corpse Girl's website. I'm sure of it. This room, this fucking cursed room, ruined my life and corrupted my mind. And I have to wonder if somebody planned it all. Did somebody leave all these things here in order to break whoever entered? That's probably a far-fetched concept, but I'm desperate to place the blame on somebody. Anybody but myself.
Enough.
A light slap to my face snaps me out of my inner ramblings. It's time to bury Corpse Girl and put this life behind me once and for all. I can't really atone for the things I've done this last year. Hell, I don't actually feel like I need to atone. It's not guilt that's eating me up inside. But at the very least, I can move on. I carefully remove the restraints tying Corpse Girl to the wall and feel the weight of her rotted body collapse against my own frail form. Her head leans against my shoulder, and for a brief moment, I pause and let her rest against me. I run a hand through what's left of her hair. She's been through a lot. We both have. We're both Corpse Girl. Well, we both used to be. Now we are just empty husks with no purpose. If we're not Corpse Girl, we'll probably be forgotten, lost to time and memory. For once in my life, I'm looking forward to being forgotten. How are you going to get this downstairs, by the way, Noriko? You struggled to get up on your own. Oh, that was the finale. Bonus ending Tomoe Watanabe. What? Is this the good ending? Noriko lived? God, this place is boring as hell. After all the shit I've been through this year, I simply can't believe I'm still working here. If it weren't for Shinya, I probably wouldn't bother coming in every day. But I want to patch things up with him. If I keep talking to him in the office, surely I'll crawl my way to forgiveness. Speaking of that son of a bitch, here he comes now. Look at him. He walks past my desk and doesn't even acknowledge my existence. How can he ignore me? After all the time we spent together? Fucking hell. He irritates the shit out of me sometimes. I'll just have to take matters into my own hands. If he won't talk to me, I'll just make him talk. I leave my desk and stride over to him. My heavy footsteps aren't exactly elegant or befitting a lady, as my mother used to always say, but I don't really give a flying fuck.
Hey, what's going on?
The slurred, drawling words that drip from my mouth don't come out the way I want. That always seems to be the case. Everyone treats me like some dumbass dipshit because of the way I speak. They don't understand that it's the way somebody thinks that really matters. I can't help it if I was brought up to speak like a fucking imbecile. Blame my father, not me.
Oh. Hello, Tomoe.
Hello yourself. What's a gal gotta do to get a conversation out of you these days?
Huh? What do you mean?
Come on. You know we don't speak like we used to.
Well, we broke up. You dumped me. What exactly do you expect from me now?
Oh, please. You know I'm sorry for that. I told you 1,000 times that breaking it off with you was the stupidest thing I've ever done. So come on! Get back together with me, will ya?
Tomoe, you broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. Shinya, I really love you. I need you.
I'm not normally one to get embarrassed, but letting my feelings hang in the air between us really makes me uncomfortable.
Did you hear about my father?
Eh?
I wasn't expecting him to shrug off my confession with a swift change of topic.
He's tracked down an important member of the Human Removal Service.
Oh.
Jeez, not this shit again. Can't you just let it all go?
No, I can never do that. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I could use a hand, if you're willing to assist. Having someone by my side with insider information would be rather handy. Don't you agree?
I'm kind of blindsided by his request. I know that he knows everything. I'd be stupid to pretend he hasn't figured it out. All out by now. He knows of my involvement with Noriko. He knows that I had a hand, however indirect, in the suicide cases that Corpse Girl painted across the city.
I'm not going to judge you for working with Noriko. If you can help me bring the greater perpetrator to justice, the head of the Human Removal Service, then I think it may have been a good thing that you did what you did.
That's so. You'd forgive me for getting involved with such stupid shit?
Yes. I'd have no choice but to forgive you.
Because Shinya has a really twisted view on justice.
And maybe we can even move further forward.
I know he's just saying what I want to hear. He can be manipulative in his own way. But if there's a chance I can make up for the shit I've done and win Shinya over again, then I have to go for it.
Right. Sign me up then, or whatever. I'll help out.
Thank you, Tomoe. I'm going to interview the individual involved with the Human Removal Service.
Are you allowed to do that?
Of course. Father said I'm an important member of the investigation team now.
I suspect he did mean this evolved. I think he meant, you know, the coffee getting type of guy.
I'd like you to come with me. You might be able to point out any inconsistencies in his testimony.
We can have good cop, bad cop. Shinya can obviously be the bad cop because he's awful, and I guess Tomoe can be the good cop.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'll do my best.
For the first time in a long time, Shinya smiles at me.
Ah, shit, man. I told you, I don't know. Can you just leave me alone?
This guy is pathetic. Every time I open my mouth, he flinches and recoils in terror, like he thinks I'm gonna hit him or stab him.
Listen here, you little shit. If you don't spill the deets, my man here will crush your fat skull into dust.
Tomoe, maybe you should let me do the talking from here on out.
Whatever.
I back off and let Shinya take my place. I talked him up, so I thought he'd be pleased. But maybe I just annoyed him.
Mr. Matsumoto.
Please, just call me June. Hey, nice try, mister. I ain't your friend. You can address me formally. Thank you very much.
Hang on a minute, how have we detained this person inside the mall security room? How's this transpired? Is this our own little special office? Do we have these monitors? Shit, maybe Shinya is part of the team. He folds his arms across his chest and adopts the pouting expression of a child.
Yes. Well, as I was saying, Mr. Matsumoto, you understand why you've been brought in for questioning, yes?
Yeah, man, but, like, I'm totes innocent, you know? I don't even know nothing about the Human Removal Service.
Ah! We never mentioned the Human Removal Service. Guilty!
You guys think I'm involved, but you haven't given a reason why you think that.
Shinya retrieves a small pocket notebook from somewhere and flips through the pages. After a moment's silence, he clears his throat.
Several witnesses, plus a security camera, placed you at the scene of a murder just 2 days ago. Now, it's apparent you weren't the culprit. However, your activities at the time of the incident were questionable at best.
Oh, what activities are you referring to, Detective Man?
You were cheering, and I quote, "Kill him dead. Kill him dead."
Yo, that don't sound like something I'd say. I want my lawyer. You can't detain me here.
I think he's right.
Mr. Matsumoto, you willingly came here when we contacted you. You are not under arrest.
This is ludicrous. Ludicrous, I say.
I hate to agree with Junpei, but he's right.
Be that as it may, I have a few more questions. One witness declared that you followed the masked culprit after they fled the scene of the crime. Is there any truth to this claim?
Oh man, like, I just needed to go the same direction.
Look, the guy that murdered someone, yeah, I just need to go in the same direction as him, so, I just followed him along. It's fine.
I've got no idea who this Herald person you keep mentioning is.
We never mentioned the Herald. Guilty! Shinya raised an eyebrow and cast me a dark look. I just shrugged.
I never mentioned the word Herald. Is that the name the culprit refers to themselves as?
Oh, this is like some detective mind trick, ain't it? I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say or do, or whatever, can be like...
I've had enough of this creep's inane ramblings.
Listen up.
I slammed my fist against the table and sent Junpei rolling back in his seat. He nearly falls off the chair but managed to regain his balance.
You've got two options here. Number one, tell us the identity of that killer, the person you called the Herald.
What's the other option?
Number two, tell us who is really in charge of the human removal service.
His sweaty, pulsating forehead is glowing red.
I can't betray the identity of the Herald. I just can't. But the guy behind all of this? I say fuck him. I'll sell him out if it means you'll pardon my involvement.
I don't know what caused this sudden change of attitude, but Shinya gives me a grateful nod, and it feels good to have been helpful.
Please, Mr. Matsumoto, please give us a name.
Okay. Look, you gotta know this. I don't have all the deets, okay? I'm not as important as y'all think I am.
Do you think he's going to name drop Kojiro now, who's already dead?
But the guy running this whole thing, he's got an army of masked killers. An army of damaged chicks all going around, killing and calling themselves the Herald.
Wait, are all the Heralds female as well?
And the name of this ringleader?
Like I said, I don't know everything. I don't got his full name. I only know him as N. Sinclair.
Unexpected. N. Sinclair. A foreign name. Although, the first name could be Japanese, I suppose. Shinya is jotting the name down and confirming the correct spelling with Junpei. I find myself lost in a thought far detached from this moment. For some strange reason, Noriko's face pops into my mind. I have a fuzzy recollection of a conversation with her, but any attempt to clarify the thought in my mind is useless.
Shinya, is the name familiar to you?
Yes.
Amazing! Shinya always surprises me.
So who is it?
Noriko Kurosawa once told me about a book she was reading. Now, please understand, I don't share the same taste in fiction as hers, so...
Yeah, I get it. Get to the point.
She used to read the most macabre, horrific stories. And she told me about one book in particular. A book about a man obsessed with corpses.
Obsessed with corpses, huh? Jeez, don't that sound familiar? Wait, what am I saying? That does sound familiar. She told me about that book, too. Flower. Something about a flower.
Yes, strange flower. A book by Nobel Sinclair.
Nobel Sinclair? N. Sinclair himself?
Jeez. You reckon that's the guy behind the human removal service?
I don't know, but it's a lead. A man obsessed with the dead. Truly despicable.
That's one way to put it. I've done my time with sickos like that, had enough of it, and put it all behind me.
Yo, Detective Man, can I, go now?
Absolutely not.
Shinya turns away from Junpei and beckons for one of the armed police officers standing guard at the room's entrance. I don't understand. Shinya's like an actual detective in this. But why is it mall security? I don't understand. The officer walks over and awaits Shinya's command. As confused as I am, probably. It's like, is this guy in charge? It's like, oh, I don't know. I thought it was the T-boy.
Arrest this man.
Yo, that's whack. What are you doing?
The police officer cuffs Junpei and yanks him out of his chair.
Damn. Shinya, that was cold.
It had to be done.
Junpei Matsumoto is dragged away, kicking and screaming. Silence falls upon the room after the door closes in the police officer's wake.
So, what now, Detective Man?
Shinya scratches his chin, as though wondering why I would call him that. But he doesn't voice his discontent.
Our next step is to track down the author, Nobel Sinclair. Maybe he's our culprit, maybe not. Either way, we won't know until we talk to him.
Right on. And... what about...
Shinya interrupts me with a sudden soft kiss on the lips. I close my eyes and lean into him, letting his warmth envelop me.
Shinya...
I couldn't have done this without you, Tomoe. And I wouldn't be the man I am today had it not been for you. So... thank you.
does this mean... you want to be with me again?
Yes. If you'll have me.
My heart swells with his confirmation. I've never been so happy.
Shinya, of course!
He kisses me again and the fear I had of losing him instantly washes away. I won't fuck it up this time. I'll keep him close to me and protect him forever. I reluctantly break away from his embrace and hold his chin delicately in my fingers.
Let's go find this Nobel Sinclair fucker.
Yes. Let's find him and bring him to justice.
Ending B false, Noriko Kurosawa. Well, that doesn't sound great. The false ending. 3 months later. Aoi and I used to always dream about getting away. Breaking away from all the stress and tension of our everyday world. She dreamt of going somewhere cold for a winter getaway. Somewhere she could snuggle up by a warm fireplace and drink hot cocoa and feel at peace. I told her I'd like to visit a sunny holiday destination. But I don't know why I said that back then. It was a lie. I hated the sun. The harsh light and the warmth always used to leave my skin feeling prickly and scorched. However, things have changed. Through no plans of my own. For some reason, leaving behind the life of Corpse Girl helped me appreciate a few of the little things in life. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just happy I survived. Maybe I'm just glad that I don't have to keep living in that accursed apartment. I haven't fully recovered from the stab wound Aoi inflicted upon me. I haven't fully recovered from the scar she left in my heart. I don't think I'll ever be 100% healthy again. My doctor says these things take time, but maybe a slight limp and a dull ache in my gut from time to time is a small price to pay for my life. I made the decision a few weeks ago to attempt a beachside vacation. It went well. Pale, ghostly Noriko Kurosawa sat on a beach and attempted to get a tan. I did it for myself, not out of some misguided notion that I should live out a dream vacation for Aoi's sake. Aoi can go on her own damn vacation whenever she wants. It's not like she's limping around with a cane and a serpentine scar across her beautiful skin. It's not like she had to struggle against the entire world just to get on an aeroplane. The beach was gorgeous, The water was pristine. I'd never seen anything like it in all my life. But those moments of sunshine and relaxation were fleeting. Sitting alone now, in this empty apartment, makes that painfully clear. I had to return to Tokyo eventually. It was inevitable. But it feels like there's nothing here for me anymore. Maybe I'll move once more, and go to Osaka or Nagoya. No one in Tokyo for me. Aoi, Kajiro, they're either dead or dead to me. Tomoe doesn't call me, doesn't answer her messages. Shinya, nothing, no one in Tokyo for me. My eyelids close gently and the sweet embrace of sleep takes me. I decide to go for a walk to clear my head. But after returning to my new apartment building, I somehow forget my apartment number. I've only just moved in after all.
Shit. How could I forget something so important?
I wander the cold hallways, trying to locate my place. 238 or 248? Which one was it? Completely lost, I decide to turn around and search in the opposite direction. As I turn, a slightly open door catches my attention. Who would leave their door open? Anyone could walk into your apartment and steal your belongings. This thought quickly scampers off as I find myself pushing the door ever so gently. It swings open slowly, revealing a room lit only by the flickering light of a television.
Hello? You left your door open. Is anyone in there?
My timid voice sounds unfamiliar to my own ears. I realise I've rarely spoken in the last few days, save for the occasional pleasantry exchanged with the staff from the moving company. When no answer from within the room is forthcoming, I take a careful step inside. No sound comes from the television in the corner. It has been muted, but the screen has been left on for some reason. My eyes strain to peer into the near darkness. Once my eyes finally decipher the scene before me, I realise that I'll never be able to delete the vision that plagued me for most of my life. My mother hangs from the ceiling, a rope coiled around her neck like a boa constrictor. Her mouth is agape, a half smile, half scream upon her lips. Her eyes are vacant and stained black with the filthy muck of regret. And her legs dangle, helpless, unable to secure a foothold upon the chair that has fallen to the ground. The chair that I kicked out from under her while I laughed and laughed along with Noriko. A thick clump of bile bubbles up within my throat, and it takes all of my strength to resist keeling over and vomiting. The body hanging above me, the soulless corpse peering down at me. This is not my mother. This is not. This person, this nameless woman, she's been dead for hours at least. I didn't kick the chair out from under her. Noriko isn't here laughing alongside me. I'm here alone. The woman isn't struggling. She isn't pleading for help or forgiveness. She isn't cursing a stupid mistake. She is gone. Just gone. Her soul has departed for whatever afterlife awaits us once we leave this purgatory. She is nothing more than a hanging corpse. Nothing more than a sack of flesh and bone. The disgusting urge to throw it begins to ebb away as I stare up at the ceiling. The light of the television illuminates the corpse's face briefly, revealing skin gently kissed by light, freckles, and eyes creased with soft wrinkles. She's older than me, perhaps by a decade, but she is by no means less beautiful than I am. Her hair is long and soft, and I get a sudden urge to brush it aside, to sweep it away from her eyes and tell her everything is going to be okay. Before I can even understand it, I'm standing upon the bed in order to reach up to the ceiling. I rest one hand lightly on her shoulder, then go ahead and brush some of those stray locks from her eyes with my fingers. If I look past those empty eyes, those eyes that stare at me and see everything I am, if I look past them, I see a truly gorgeous woman before me. I'm utterly entranced by her. I rest my cheek against hers, her skin still surprisingly warm. Perhaps she did not perish as long ago as I initially assumed.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why I say those words. Maybe it's guilt. Guilt. I caused a lot of people to end up like her. Force them to end their own lives out of fear or distress or desperation. No, that's wrong. I'm not guilty of those things. Corpse Girl is the one responsible. It's not my fault those people died. I wasn't myself. Regardless, to think that I helped Corpse Girl destroy so much beauty makes me feel ill.
What's your name?
The corpse doesn't answer.
A silent type, eh? That's okay. It's kind of cute. My name's Noriko. Are you hungry? Can I treat you to a meal?
No reply.
Shh. It's okay. Come on. I'll get you down from there. Let's get you dressed. I'll put you in something nice. It's warm outside, so how about a light dress?
Nothing. It takes some time to unloop the rope from her neck and return her to the floor safely. Some part of my subconscious knows exactly how to move her carefully, to dress her, to apply her makeup, and bring out her inner beauty. I can't recall if I've done something like this before. Have I taken a corpse out to dinner before? I can't recall if I just read about it in a book, or if I experienced a similar situation. Just because she's dead doesn't mean that I shouldn't treat her right. Just because she's dead doesn't mean she's not beautiful and worthy of my love. After a bit of time, my gorgeous friend is dressed to impress. We're ready to go out for dinner. She's not very talkative, so I'll place her order and keep the conversation going. People might look at us, they might stare, or even judge us. But we'll be okay. We're two beautiful young women, simply enjoying each other's company. She'll start to decay soon, like a strange flower wilting moments after being taken out of the water. As for me, I think I've been decaying for a long time. I hope this nameless corpse girl can help me feel alive again. She offers me a slight smile as I take her hand and lead her out into the blinding light of the hallway. I blush. Epilogue, Noble Sinclair. Oh my god. How many endings does this have? 1 year later. The book is almost warm in my hand. It's a pristine volume, fresh off the printing press even. Paperback, though I would have preferred hardback. Been a while since I last published a book. Years. The few fans I have probably thought I disappeared off the face of the planet. I did, in a way. Not my fault. Death is death. Noble Sinclair died in a fire inside his family home. That was a long time ago. Even though my name burned to ash, my body survived. I had to pick up a new name after that. Can't wander this planet without one. This body went on living for quite a while with a new name. I even grew to like it. Then the strangest thing happened. Another fire. Inside a morgue. This time. The new name went up in flames. My body survived. Again. Fate? Don't know. Felt a bit lost after that. Felt a bit unlike anybody. I decided to pick the old name back up, dusted it off, pinned it on my chest. Noble Sinclair. It always suited me. Mother gave it to me after all. This time, I didn't want to completely disregard my existence. The time spent as another man, too much happened. I've got too much to tell, too many tales to keep to myself. So this new book tells the entire story, from start to end. Wasn't easy typing page after page with only one arm. One of the most taxing and challenging things I've ever attempted. But now, it's done. Soon this new volume will hit store shelves across the country. The world will know everything. I used pseudonyms throughout the book to protect the identities of the guilty. Didn't print Noriko Kurosawa's real name, even once. Didn't identify Junpei Matsumoto or Aoi Sato. Didn't call out Tomoe Watanabe, or even that wannabe detective that always chases me, Shinya Fujikawa. And most importantly, I didn't print my previous name. Not that name, anyway. I confessed a lot of things within this text. I even confessed my involvement with the Human Removal Service. Getting caught up in that organization's web of death wasn't something I ever intended to do. It wasn't something Kojiro ever would have done. But it was necessary. Necessary in order to finish this latest book. Noble Sinclair rose through the ranks of the Shadow Society within mere weeks. Chalk it up to his, or my, macabre experiences. Couldn't have done it without the connections I formed as Kojiro. Couldn't have done any of this without him. I'm at the top of the ladder now, so to speak. Got a bunch of killers on my payroll. Even the dog, Junpei, is on my leash now. Don't know where I'll go from here. Original plan was to shut the Human Removal Service down, delete its existence as the final act of love for Noriko. But the power is nice. The power is intoxicating. Again, Kojiro wouldn't have toyed around with something like this. I'm not Kojiro. I look over the book in my hand once more. It's heavy, full of words that carry more weight than they should. Whether people believe in content of this book is out of my control, but those with a keen intellect will surely be able to piece the truth together. My eyes scan the cover and read over the large embossed letters. Corpse Factory, a novel by Noble Sinclair. I've never been more proud of my work. The end. So I guess I didn't get Aoi's ending because I got her story thing wrong. If you remember ages and ages ago, like, the first decision we had to make, which was like, you know, give Aoi space or chase after her, I got that wrong. I think if we got that right, we would have got Aoi's backstory. But you know what? I'll leave that to you, the audience, to find out what happens to Aoi after Corpse Factory. And that'll do it for this series. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed, you know, doing some of these light novel series. It's a kind of a nice change of pace, and I enjoyed this one. It generally kept me guessing. There are a few things here and there that, you know, like Noriko just mysteriously being okay, like someone finding her at the factory. I guess Aoi has a change of heart or something and, you know, calls an ambulance. But I would have liked to know what happens to her. Maybe I'll look this up flying. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in another series. Goodbye.